Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Racha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of 1 Kings, the 13th chapter. And in this chapter, it continues on with the reign of Jeroboam and the wickedness that he continued to do. And a message that the Lord had, prophesied concerning Josiah that would come about in the future, right? So this is 1 Kings chapter 13, verse 1. And behold, there came a man of God out of Judah by the word of the Lord Yahweh unto Bethel. And Jeroboam stood by the altar to burn incense. And remember, when we read in the 12th chapter, the two places that Jeroboam built the altar was Bethel, and I think Dan was the other one. Let's take a look here. Bethel. Yep, he put one of the altars, the golden calves, actually in Bethel, and one in Dan, and then they would sacrifice onto them and so on. Verse 2. Or continuing here, and Jeroboam stood by the altar to burn incense, and he cried against the altar in the word of the Lord Yahweh, this being the man of God, and said, O altar, altar, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, a child shall be born unto the house of David, Josiah by name. And upon thee shall he offer the priests of the high places that burn incense upon thee, and men's bones shall be burnt upon thee. And this is to say that Josiah, which is King Josiah that you read about in the book of Kings, that later on comes through the line of Judah, right, the house of David, he ends up cleansing the land, slaying the priests, tearing down the altar, and that's what is being referred to here by the man of God here. Okay. Verse 3, and he gave a sign the same day, saying that this is the sign which the Lord Yahweh hath spoken. Behold, the altar shall be rent, and the ashes that are upon it shall be poured out. And this sign was to happen that same day, and it would be proof, okay, to say that by this the prophecy that I have made concerning Josiah will come to pass. And it came to pass when King Jeroboam heard the saying of the man of God, that he cried against the altar in Bethel, that he put forth his hand from the altar, because remember, he was offering incense, Jeroboam that is, right? So when he heard the sayings of the man of God, he basically took his hand from the altar to, as it says, saying, lay hold on him, right? To point at the man of God to say, yo, grab him up, catch his ass. And his hand which he put forth against him dried up, so that he could not pull it in again to him. So you can imagine it sort of, shriveled up, became like paralyzed or something, where he couldn't actually even, pull it back. He just stuck with it like that. And the altar also was rent, right? So according to the sign that the man of God gave here, the altar was rent, right? Cracked, broken in half. And the ashes poured out from the altar according to the sign which the man of God had given by the word of the Lord Yahweh. And the king answered and said unto the man of God, entreat now the face of the Lord Yahweh thy God, and pray for me, that my hand may be restored me again. So now, after seeing that sign, he got scared. He got scared, right? His hand is messed up, and now what the man of God was saying just happened. So now he's basically beseeching, begging him to pray for him. And the man of God besought the Lord Yahweh, and the king's hand was restored him again, and became as it was before. And the king said unto the man of God, come home with me, and refresh thyself, and I will give thee a reward. And the man of God said unto the king, If thou wilt give me half thine house, I will not go with thee. Neither will I eat bread nor drink water in this place. Basically, even if you gave me half of your possessions, your house, I'm still not going to go with you. For so was it charged me by the word of the Lord Yahweh, even, saying, Eat no bread, nor drink water, nor turn again by the same way that thou camest. And the charge here being like this was a commandment that the Lord gave him to say, look, when you go there, don't eat anything, don't drink any water, and don't come back, by the same way that you went. You go one way, you leave another way, end of story. So he went another way and returned not by the way that he came to Bethel. Now there dwelt an old prophet in Bethel, and his sons came and told him all the works that the man of God had done that day in Bethel. Man of God was also another way of saying prophet, back in the day, so to speak. The words which he had spoken against the king, them they told also to their father. And their father said unto them, What way went he? For his sons had seen what way the man of God went, which came from Judah. And he said unto his sons, Saddle me the ass. So they saddled him the ass, and he rode thereon. Basically, they prepared the transportation. And went after the man of God, and found him sitting under an oak. And he said unto him, Art thou the man of God that camest from Judah? And he said, I am. Then he said unto him, Come home with me, and eat bread. And he said, I may not return with thee, nor go in with thee, neither will I eat bread, nor drink water with thee in this place. For it was said to me by the word of the Lord Yahweh, Thou shalt eat no bread, nor drink water there, nor turn again to go by the way that thou camest. So he's telling the old prophet here, who is already from Bethel, I can't come with you. This is what the Lord told me to do. And he said unto him, this is the old prophet replying, I am a prophet also, as thou art. And an angel spake unto me by the word of the Lord Yahweh, saying, Bring him back with thee into thine house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied unto him. So that was the Lord testing the obedience of this prophet. And, well, we'll see what happened, but it's interesting, right? You would say, wait, but the Lord told me not to do any of these things. Then he sends an angel to you specifically to tell you so I can come and eat bread and drink water. That's it. I mean, I could hold it till I get back, right? But anyway, it was all for a purpose, right? So he went back with him and did eat bread in his house and drank water. And it came to pass, as they sat at the table, that the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto the prophet that brought him back. And he cried unto the man of God that came from Judah, saying, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Forasmuch as thou hast disobeyed the mouth of the Lord, and hast not kept the commandment which the Lord Yahweh thy God commanded thee, but camest back, and hast eaten bread, and drunk water in this place, of the which the Lord did say to thee, Eat no bread, and drink no water. Thy carcass shall not come unto the sepulchre of thy fathers. So as a penalty, as a result of disobeying the direct words of the Lord that he told you, you're going to die. And like it says, your carcass will not come onto the sepulchre, or like the burying ground, the grave, the tomb of your fathers. And there's a lesson to be learned there as well, right? Which is, we know the Most High is not double-minded, right? We know the Most High doesn't second guess, and being that he says he declares the end from the beginning, if he then gave you a commandment explicitly, like in the case of this prophet, then that's exactly what he meant, right? Another example is Saul, right? When Saul, which we'll get to in due time, but the Lord gave Saul a commandment, he went and did something otherwise, and that was it for him too. Verse 23, and it came to pass after he had eaten bread, and after he had drunk, that he saddled for him the ass, to wit, for the prophet whom he had brought back. So he prepared, the ass, the donkey, for the prophet to take back on his way back. And when he was gone, a lion met him by the way, and slew him, and his carcass was cast in the way, and the ass stood by it. The lion also stood by the carcass. So you can imagine this, right? He's going, and a lion pulls up, all wild and ferocious, haven't been commanded by the Lord, that is, and it basically killed him. But it didn't eat his body. It didn't do anything, just killed him, maybe pounced, caught him off of the ass. You know how lions like to attack, and they're pretty strong and heavy too. So they go for the neck area, cut off your oxygen and all of that, and probably just held him down and whatnot. Who knows? But now imagine this sight. There's a lion there, probably at this point crouched there, wagging his tail or something. There's the ass that that this prophet was taken back, and then there's his dead body, and they're just all there. Verse 25, and behold, men passed by and saw the carcass in the way, or the carcass cast in the way, and the lion standing by the carcass. So I guess he wasn't crouching. And they came and told it in the city where the old prophet dwelt, because this was like people talked about it, like, yo, did you see that? Like, yo, there's a lion right there, the dead body, and the ass, and they're all just there. Verse 26, and when the prophet that brought him back from the way heard thereof, he said, it is the man of God who was disobedient unto the word of the Lord. Therefore the Lord hath delivered him unto the lion, which hath torn him and slain him, according to the word of the Lord Yahweh, which he spake unto him. And he spake to his sons, saying, saddle me the ass. And they saddled him. And he went and found his carcass cast in the way, and the ass and the lion standing by the carcass. The lion had not eaten the carcass, nor torn the ass. And lions, they're as they're called, king of the jungle. In the normal state of affairs, that ass would have been gone. And the prophet took up the carcass of the man of God, and laid it upon the ass, and brought it back. And the old prophet came to the city to mourn and to bury him. And he laid his carcass in his own grave. And they mourned over him, saying, alas, my brother. And it came to pass after he had buried him, that he spake to his sons, saying, when I am dead, bury me in the sepulchre wherein the man of God is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones. Now you might think, but why is he mourning? I mean, isn't he the one who went and deceived them and lied to him? But then again, right? Let's look at what's going on here. There's a prophet or a man of God that has specific instructions from the Lord. And as he's on his way doing what he's doing, the spirit of the Lord comes to another prophet and tells him, I want you to go and deceive this guy. Tell him to come back. What you tell him, an angel, told you to bring him back, and so on. Now, the Lord is testing the first man of God and also testing the second one, because what do you think would happen if he says, okay, as a result of this guy not listening to my word, now he's going to be slain in the way, and you're going to go and not listen to my word either? What do you think is going to happen to you? So really, he didn't really have much of a choice. Being a prophet, the Lord told him, this is what I want you to go and do. That's exactly what he had to go and do. Verse 32, for the saying which he cried. So the old prophet is telling his sons here, right, that, we're going to bury this guy in my grave, my sepulcher, because usually that's what would happen, right? They would either buy land or a cave or somewhere that they could prepare as their burying place. And so when it was time for them to pass, that's where they would request to be buried, where their bones eventually would stay. And then it would sort of become a place where their sons, okay, bury me over here with my fathers, bury me over here with my fathers. And it would sort of be like that. Obviously today, not the case, but that's sort of how it was. So he says, my burying place that I've prepared, bury the man of God over there. And when I die, bury me there as well. For the saying which he cried by the word of the Lord against the altar in Bethel, and against all the houses of the high places which are in the cities of Samaria, shall surely come to pass. So he reaffirmed the things that the first prophet had prophesied about Josiah coming up and, you know, offering the bones of the wicked priests upon those altars and basically tearing that down and all of that. So he reaffirmed that, saying, yeah, that's going to happen. Verse 33, after this thing, Jeroboam returned not from his evil way, but made again of the lowest of the people, the lowest meaning the base, these are worthless people, of the people, priests of the high places. Whosoever would, he consecrated him, and he became one of the priests of the high places. And then, mind you, these are high places where they were worshiping idols, committing, like, this is like some deep, high level idolatry. And this thing became sin unto the house of Jeroboam, even to cut it off and to destroy it from off the face of the earth. And what that means is the Lord set it up to where eventually, right, Jeroboam's, when it says his house, it means his descendants. So if he had any sons, they would eventually be slain, and that his lineage would stop going on, meaning like Jeroboam, he dies, but he had a son. Okay, so his son then has a son, and then that's all gonna stop, right? Either by his son dying before he has before his son is able to have offspring, or whatnot. But that brings us to the end of the book of 1 Kings, the 13th chapter. So Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachak Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.